he gaslights and manipulates a lot. And a lot of the time when someone is a big manipulator, they have a lot of issues with like the mother wound. Hey guys, welcome back. It's Missy, and today we're gonna dive into the most recent episodes 10 through 12. We're going to talk about the lasting couples, and we're going to analyze their behaviors and talk about why they did what they did and why they're behaving the way that they're behaving. Before we get started, if you're curious about any of the other analysis of Love is Blind, you can go to the previous couple videos. Also, if you struggle with anxiety, go and check out my book Anxiety at the Root, which will be linked down below, and you can check it out right here. We talk about somatic practices, we talk about neural retraining, and talk about tips and tools to actually get to the root and heal your anxiety. And even if you are not maybe an anxiety sufferer, but you struggle mentally and you feel like your mind is out of control, this book is for you. Let's get into today's video. So the first couple we're going to talk about is Lauren and Dave. One question I think a lot of people are asking is, why didn't Lauren be the one to end it, and why didn't she end it sooner? There's a couple of reasons why I believe that is. One, confirmation bias. She made a decision to marry someone and she wanted to follow through with it. She wanted to prevent humiliation. So this was one reason. Another thing is that she had a rejection wound. Dave kept rejecting her over and over again. He was telling her like, oh, I want to make things work, but his actions were rejection. Like, you know, oh, I'm gonna go out with my friends, but you can't come. Oh, you can't meet my sister. Oh, you know, I'm gonna go do my own thing. But it wasn't, you know, doing things joint and together. Like, he was going and doing his own thing, and he wasn't allowing her to be a part of his circle, and so she felt rejected. And so she was desperately trying to prove that she was worthy of being a part of his life and worthy of his love. She wanted him to want her because he was rejecting her. And I also think the other part of it is there was a desperation aspect because of her age. When you get to your 30s, you start to feel more desperate, especially if you want to have children. It's a very subconscious thing. You, especially in society, like they'll tell you, you know, you have a clock, it's ticking. So you start to feel this pressure of like, oh my God, I'm getting to the age where I need to start having kids, or I need to settle down. So as women specifically, we feel a lot of that pressure, especially if you want children. So she desperately wanted to make it work because I'm sure she didn't want to go through another relationship. Like, she already had it at the tips of her finger of potential marriage. There also could be an aspect that maybe she was struggling with her self-worth, and because Dave was so good at gaslighting her and making her seem like she was such a big problem, it made her feel worthless, and she just wanted to prove that she was worthy. I think what wound up happening is early on, I think Dave realized he didn't actually want to be in a relationship. He liked the idea of it, but I don't think he actually wanted to be in a wanted to settle down and get married. And Lauren was good at, or no, it was Molly that wound up calling it out later on, saying, you know, I don't think you're actually ready to settle down. And his ego came up and he was like, yes, I am. But I think he was sabotaging it, and he didn't want to make it look like he was sabotaging it. He didn't want to be the reason why things didn't work out. He wanted to place the responsibility on Lauren, and he actually winds up saying that later on. He said something with the guys basically saying like, I didn't want to be the one that ended it. This kind of follows suit with the pods with Molly. He also, same thing. He didn't want to be take the responsibility and be the one that looks like the bad guy and ends it. He wants to manipulate and kind of force and push other people to do kind of his like dirty work, or, you know, do the thing that he wants to happen, but he doesn't want to, you know, have, you know, blood on his hands. During the conversation between Dave and Lauren, I noticed he was mm-humming at her a lot, but he didn't seem like he was present, and he was really mm-humming, like he was acknowledging. It seemed like it was like a dismissive mm-hmm, and like maybe he wasn't fully listening. Lauren had brung up multiple times, how are they going to move forward basically, and Dave was like, I have no idea. And the reason why he had no idea is because he didn't really put thought into it. He most likely was just continuing to push, hoping that she would end things. Your actions and your words, if they're complete opposites, your actions are more likely to tell you and others what you really feel versus your words. His actions were saying, I don't want to be in a partnership, and I don't want to have a marriage, and I don't want to make this work. It just seems like he did like to play head games for validation. and he liked Lauren wanting him, but he didn't actually want her the same way. Another thing I noticed is Lauren talks vulnerabilities and Dave just kind of mirrors her. He maybe like says, oh yeah, I feel the same way, or I agree, or you know, he will mirror and repeat the same thing she says, but it doesn't seem like he has his own thoughts and opinions. Same thing is, I think he also mirrors what is like things he hears from his friends and his sister. We don't know at the end of the day if his sister really was the way that he portrayed it, or like his sister was different. We have no idea, but it just, to me, it seems like he mirrors a lot of what he hears. But the biggest thing I took away from the first episode is there shouldn't be this many problems in the beginnings of your relationship, especially heading towards marriage. Those are huge red flags and deal breakers. A thing I noticed that was a red flag when going into Dave meeting Lauren's mom is, first, I swear the mom wanted to be shady and be like, Dave, like what's going on with this weird situation with your sister? But she was being polite, and I think the moms on the show, like for the girls, like they're so supportive and sweet. Like Virginia's mom is great. I think that Lauren's mom was really supportive and great. So that was like sweet to see. But the biggest thing I saw that was a problem in the lunch was Dave, when they were making the joke about like with the sister and that she didn't want him to be with someone that like maybe just wants fame. He continued on with the joke of being like, oh yeah, no, like Lauren is like, you know, fame hungry and she's not that cute. Like, why didn't he say that specifically? That just revealed that he maybe isn't really that attracted to her, because there was no reason to bring that up. And I don't think the sister was concerned if Lauren was attractive or not. But I think it was good that Lauren was calling Dave out and was like just giving them advice and trying to be a supportive mom, but also like being like, what's going on, Dave? Like some of these things are not okay. Okay, now with the bowling scene, some things that I thought were interesting was Dave mentioning that his sister was upset because she wanted to set him up, which it just shows possibly how overly involved his sister is, because in the past video I had mentioned that it seems like they have an enmeshed relationship. That's overly being involved. Like, your sister doesn't have to be the one that sets you up or decides like who your partner is. So the fact that she was upset about that says a lot. I was surprised Lauren didn't call him out when he said you know, doesn't want to waste his sister's time and about it's not gonna go far. Again, like that's really insulting and hurtful to your potential partner. I don't think he realized that he admitted Lauren was a waste of time. Could it have been in editing or misinterpreted? Sure, it could have been, but even so, you shouldn't say anything about like a potential waste of time and someone that you're thinking about marrying. But finally, Lauren said, you know, I don't think you're ready for marriage. He admitted that his friends would be there if he really wanted, and he was talking about he can't force anyone to do anything. But the thing is, you can still influence other people. You can't force them, but it says a lot how your friends are responding to what you're saying, and it appears very much so he wasn't really having a convincing case. He wasn't putting effort, and it's pretty obvious. I don't think his friends are that strong-hung. Like, Lauren was not like this murderer or terrifying person. She just had a fling before coming on. The punishment didn't meet the crime. It just seems like Dave knows what he needs to say, because again, you know, in my very first video I had mentioned it seems like he's performative and he knows how to make things look good, but his actions don't say the same thing. But in the scene with like Molly and Dave, and Molly talking to him, like Molly was clocking him. Molly's a girl's girl. She was having Lauren's back. She was calling Dave out. Dave was not having it. He definitely, his ego was coming up. He literally had admitted that he wanted to make it look like that he wasn't the one who broke it up. At the end of the day, Dave and his sister, like I said, I don't know if Dave is portraying his sister incorrectly or they really have this unhealthy relationship. I'm gonna say my personal opinion, based on the way Dave acts, and he has anxiety about women and He's very insecure, and like he was always nervous to like touch Lauren. He's like, oh, is this okay? Like almost like he was afraid to get yelled at or in trouble. He always acts like he's afraid to get in trouble. It just seems like he has issues with women, and then he also has issues with men, where it seems like he's afraid of men and getting in trouble with men based on the situation with Dave, and like him being afraid of Lauren's brother, and if he wouldn't be okay with them living in the same house. Like it just seems like he doesn't have a mind of his own, and he really just listens to what other people tell him to do, and he's very deeply insecure, and he gaslights and manipulates a lot. And a lot of the time when someone is a big manipulator, they have a lot of issues with like the mother wound, or even like if they didn't really have a mother figure, they have a sister wound or a motherly figure type wound. And so that's what I gather. I'm really glad that this didn't work out. Honestly, my heart was hurting for Lauren, because she just so desperately was like, why is this happening? I don't understand. Because Dave was feeding her what she wanted to hear, but he was hurting her and gaslighting her and making her feel crazy. You could see she started crying out of desperation. I think the most important thing is to remember, at the end of the day, these are characters on a show. Please don't send them hate. I know Lauren has said things, Dave has said things. Like, it's one thing to give constructive criticism, but please be careful of like being harsh or mean or death threats or anything like that. It's not necessary. That's not going to help you or them in any type of way. And also just brings negativity to your life. So just be careful. These people are not a day-to-day part of your life, so why even bother? I think the one thing that is good of doing, analyzing these types of behaviors, is to check them in your own life and see, are you doing some of these behaviors, or are you around some of these behaviors? And you can kind of see things that you want to maybe stay away from, or things you want to stop doing. Okay, enough about Dave and Lauren. Let's go into Monica and Joey. My first thought, this was a joke obviously, my first thought when I saw like Monica and Joey with the scene of them doing pictures, I was like, is Monica's sister low-key gonna sabotage and just like take pictures of the brick walls? One of the things that I noticed with Monica's sister, Nicole, is she mentioned her heart was on her sleeve, and she said she wasn't being nice. So this is my interpretation of that, but if someone says their heart's on their sleeve and they're not being nice, that means their heart's not nice. If your heart's on your sleeve and you're not being nice. So she's kind of revealing that maybe she's not a very nice person if she acts like that. The other thing that I thought was funny is Nicole had said, basically she didn't know if it was going to work out because Joey's high energy and they're nappers. There's a lot of couples that like high energy and then the other one's low energy, and they make it work just fine. I don't think just because you're a napper it's going to be a big problem unless the two of them make it a problem. That was interesting that she kind of came up with that. It just seems like she was coming up with things because she already in her mind had decided that she didn't like Joe, and I don't think she was fully aware of why she didn't like Joe. And it might have been her jealousy of her sister getting married and her jealousy of her sister overall, or it could have been that, you know, she felt some type of insecurity. Whatever it is, it was when people are grabbing at straws like that and it just doesn't make sense, usually there's a deeper meaning behind it. I also felt like Nicole gave this vibe that she felt she was smarter than Monica, and she was a little bit self-righteous or a little bit condescending towards Monica, making it appear like she was dumb and she couldn't make good decisions. So again, like I said, it could have been hidden resentment, hidden jealousy. I think Nicole just has some wounds that she's not fully aware of. Now going into the last scene of them where their date, there's not a lot to Joey and Monica, to be honest. The date, it was revealed, Monica had said that Joey kind of doesn't share how he's really feeling. She said he doesn't express his like intimate feelings out loud, which to me that shows if you're not revealing your intimate feelings out loud, that's going to be a problem in your marriage later on, because you're not connecting on a deep intimate level and the other person doesn't know how you feel. And so there's going to be room for questioning constantly, like, how does this person feel about me? Do they like me? Do they love me? Do they want to be with me? The other thing is, I wonder if Joey has a deep fear of suffering with his OCD again, because he had mentioned it in passing, and this could be me overlooking it. He had mentioned it was like almost he had a fear of expressing his anxiety. And he was like, oh yeah, the OCD again. So I wonder if there's a part of him that kind of fears things repeating, and suffering again. The thing I noticed with Joe and Monica the most is they do have a lot of fun, and like they're very playful, and they have kind of that brother sister like playful energy, but are they good romantically? The other thing I noticed is Joey said, I have a lot of love for you, but he didn't blatantly say like I love you, and I'm not sure if I really have heard them kind of expressing their intimate feelings, like saying I love you and stuff. I just really noticed their playfulness the most. And then when he did start to get more vulnerable, he was mentioning that people may not see him as intelligent because bright personalities are not often associated with intelligence, but I don't fully agree. I don't think it's that. I think if you always take yourself as a joke, then people are not going to take you seriously, and that's what he may experience a lot, because it doesn't seem like he takes himself seriously, and when it is time to be serious, maybe he's not, and so like maybe he is taken more like a joke. But that's just, again, I'm basing it off of a few minutes. I don't entirely know. So in my opinion, do I think that they're gonna get married? No, I don't think that they're gonna get married. The next couple, Virginia and Devin, I still don't feel like they have any chemistry. I've seen people online say both sides, that Virginia is more into Devin and Devin's more into Virginia. I think they're equally not that into each other. I think Devin is smitten with her, but going back to like with him being uncomfortable with Brittany being bisexual, I think he's also uncomfortable with Virginia's political views. You could see in their conversation when they're talking about you know, their political views. Devin is a little bit more quiet, especially when Virginia is speaking about how she believes in abortion rights and, you know, LGBTQ rights, and Devin's like, oh yeah, no, I agree, but like he doesn't seem like he fully is there. It seems like he's struggling with his beliefs in his Christianity and, you know, more liberal democratic type views, especially with his family being conservative. It seems like he likes to more so kind of play it safe and say he's in the middle, but it does seem like he trusts his family and their beliefs, but he won't admit it out loud because he doesn't want the controversy, and that's just what I get. But I'm jumping ahead. We need to go into the scene where Virginia and Devin are talking to Virginia's mom, which Virginia's mom, she is so sweet. She was so supportive. I loved Virginia's mom. Virginia seems really intelligent, and when she's around her mom, she seems like outspoken, and you could see more of herself when her mom is there, obviously, because that's more of a comfort person. And she is very understanding. Like for instance, when her mom was talking about the divorce, Virginia was very understanding about it. But going into the scene where they wound up talking about politics, Virginia and Devin, I don't know, there's something about them laying in bed. It just didn't seem like intimate or like they were really getting truly vulnerable. It seems like she's not fully satisfied with Devin, especially because she couldn't get him to like go deeper. Like she clearly was like longing for him to go deeper with him, questioning her and like coming up with topics. She wanted him to lead, and he wasn't really leading. I do think there's a part of her that feels that he's not deep enough, but you could tell when it did go into the political talk, she did get nervous bringing up the political stuff. And then the last thing was their date, where Devin got Virginia a jersey. I don't know, that was so, it was cute and it was funny. It reminded me of when like a 5-year-old gets their parents their favorite stuff then they don't realize that other people have other things that they're interested in. So Devin and Virginia, are they gonna get married? I don't think so. The next couple, Daniel and Taylor, I don't really have much to say about them. They don't really have any drama aside from the situation that happened at the beginning. That's probably why they put that in the beginning, because they don't have any drama. I think that they're gonna get married. They're in the same place. I know, like, I think more so, like in my previous video, I didn't really see chemistry. I think I'm seeing more chemistry now. Maybe it was just the beginning stages where they felt uncomfortable, but I you know, I like them together. I think they're cute together, so I think that they're gonna wind up getting married. I think the only concern is that Daniel hasn't been in a relationship for 10 years, so that may be difficult because he's gonna have to learn a lot of how to have partnerships after 10 years of not having any. But I think their relationship is like light, fun, flirty. I don't know how they are with deeper topics because they don't really talk about deeper topics, but hopefully they're good with their communication. If they don't get married, I will be surprised, because they didn't show any issues so far. And then the last relationship, Sara and Ben. Ben, more and more as time goes on, he just comes across as he's performative. and he's not being authentic. When you have the kind of like this too good to be true kind of persona, which Ben kind of places off, like, oh my god, Sarah, you're so beautiful, and like he doesn't really like show any depthness to him or like his problems, like he doesn't reveal truly his political views and things like that. He kind of just like agrees and mirrors with Sarah. It just shows maybe that he's not being truly authentic. And then with Sarah, I think Sarah is a big people pleaser, and she really wants to not hurt anyone's feelings too much, to the point where she loses herself. I think she does like to stand on what she believes is right, but she also can get too mixed up in that, where she loses like her own autonomy. I feel like I think one of the reasons why people see her as a white knight is because it seems like she struggles to have a mind of her own outside of her liberal viewpoint. The biggest scene between Sara and Ben was when they went to go have drinks or dinner or whatever with Sarah's sister and her sister's partner. Sarah's sister's partner, I don't know, I don't remember her name. I don't even remember if I saw her name pop up. I'm just gonna call her Sarah's sister's partner. That's a lot. She had a personality that I see as very much so you hate her or you like her kind of personality. Me personally, I'm gonna say this with my chest, and I may get hate for it, but I think Sarah's sister came across as overly aggressive and kind of was a little bit of a bully to Sarah. I thought it was unfair that they were making jokes about lesbians moving really fast, which is true in the lesbian community. Like, they do move really fast. I think it was unfair the way they judged her so harshly with like her wanting to be with Ben, because like, why is it okay? Why do you feel okay with you doing it in your partnerships, but you're not okay with Sarah doing it in her partnerships? I thought that was unfair. I do think Sarah felt judged, and I think she was sad because she didn't feel like they supported her. You kind of saw like the stress in her face when she was talking to them, and she was getting a little bit more riled up and angry because she was being questioned. Sarah's sister didn't seem too intense. It was more the partner that was being very intense, and she may have had Sarah's best interest, but I think if you're gonna hold someone else to those standards, you should hold yourself to those standards as well. I think Sarah overly follows her sister and her sister's partner, too much so that she's kind of lost herself in her own world and viewpoint. I don't think that Ben and Sarah are gonna get married. I think Sarah's gonna say no, even though I'm very confused because they were like leading up to like, Sarah was like expressing how great he is and all these things, but I don't know if Sarah can get past the TikToks and like other women coming forward and being like, yeah, Ben's a jerk. I think that maybe Netflix, or rather the producers, kind of encouraged her to be a little bit more overly positive, so we would get confused. But I don't know, maybe they get married, but I don't think they are. I think there's only one couple that's gonna get married. I think it's Daniel and Taylor. What do you guys think? Leave it all in the comments below. Like I mentioned, be kind. These are just you know, my own interpretation. Doesn't mean it's factual. This is just for fun. I'll see you guys after the reunion. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye guys. Hey guys, welcome back. Doesn't it look kind of weird? I don't know. I feel like my hair looks kind of weird like this. I thought it was cute, and then when I look at the camera, I look like a box. Oh, oops, I forgot I was recording.